Hi, welcome to the Bible Capsule for Calvary Church of the Nazarene. I'm Pastor Brenda. Last week I talked about the fact that we were, for the next couple of sessions, going to discuss women in the Bible and women who are not known very well, or we don't know very much about them. Today we are going to talk about the widow in Zarephath. This widow is encountered by Elijah. I'm not going to read the whole story to you because it's a little bit long, but I am going to give you some highlights as we go along. If you want to follow the story in the scriptures, you'll find it in 1 Kings chapter 17, verses 8 to 24. This is what we know. The widow has no name. She's lost her husband, of course. She has a son, and when she encounters Elijah, she's out gathering sticks. Elijah asks her for a cup of water, and she goes for the water. And as she's going for the water, he also asks her for something to eat, a bite of bread. The widow is poor, and she has nothing but enough flour and oil to make a final meal for her and her son. And so the bread or the cake that she would have made would have been like a matzah cake that sustained the Israelites when they fled from Egypt before God supplied them with manna. This situation would also indicate that she had no family that had taken her under their wing to provide for this woman, which would have been very common in the Old Testament times. She was obedient to Elijah's request, and she cooked the loaf of bread for Elijah first, and her efforts were blessed, as Elijah had said they would be. The loaves that she made for him were shared among the three, so whatever she made for Elijah was what they ate from. This was really important because there was a famine and a drought in the land, and so as she was gathering up sticks to make this final meal for her and her son, it was assumed by her that this was it, that this was the last meal that they were going to enjoy because there was nothing else. Further in the story, her son gets sick and dies, and so she weeps and cries to Elijah because her son had become sick and died. And she asked Elijah if he had come to punish her for her sins by killing her son. And she says this because in that time, she believed, and the others believed in her community, that God would have weighed her actions to those of the local people, and that she would have been found worthy. And so, since Elijah was there, God compared her with Elijah, whose actions were more righteous than hers, which meant this brought calamity upon her and her family. And that's the reason why her son died. But Elijah prayed to God, and her son came back to life. And she declared at the end of the story that Elijah was the man of God, and that the Lord truly spoke through him. And there's a lot going on in this story with this widow. But the thing I want to touch on today is the fact that she was so obedient. Despite the fact that she had just enough flour and just enough oil to make something to eat for her and her son, and feeling like this was going to be the last meal that they had before they died because of the famine and the drought. And so it's really important for us that when we have only a little bit of something, and God asks us to help somebody else, or to use it to supply or provide for somebody else, that if He's asking us to do this, then He's going to provide for us in return, that He's going to replenish what it is that He has taken from us or asked us to give. And this is really important in our walk, in our journey with the Lord. And so that's something that I want you to think about. We're going to talk about a few more things with this widow next week. So stay tuned. I'll see you next week. God bless.